How about some tunes?
We've got some great tunes for you this morning.
Bang out a few tunes.
Yeah, he's loony. He's just like his tunes.
Good tunes, good brew, good buddy.
Said I dig your groovy tunes, man.
I mean, Led Zeppelin didn't write tunes that everyone liked.
Hey, what happened to the tunes, man?
So let's go into the first real song, Pixie.
The irony of calling that song real is
Why?
Because like the whole like storyline of it is like like borderline fabricated. Because we just needed writing material.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. So like, do you want to like play it, or do you want the explanation that it?
You want to play
that
it?
I'm alluding to.
Okay, let's play it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you give me a signal when you want me to stop.
All right, you got it.
So Pixie.
So like pretty much all those lyrics, just like being really distraught about like losing somebody you care about, how can this happen, the whole thing, blah blah blah.
Right.
Whole reason for behind that shit was, I think it was when we were trying out Singers Before You.
Okay.
And we were at a Prince of Peace show. I just remember being at Prince of Peace, and I forget if we played or if we like brought people out to our car to show them the like the rough that we had of this shit or whatever it was. And there was this kid, I think his name was Jim. Couldn't remember his fucking name at all. But I was just so like excited that people like heard our shit that we didn't know, never met, couldn't tell from a can of paint, and fucking really seemed to enjoy it. So it's all blurred, but I remember like being like, yo, come back to my parents' house. And like we come back from like Prince of Peace, like all these random ass kids and like just swimming in the pool. My dad's like, who are these people? And I'm like, I don't fucking know, but they're pretty cool. They like our band. So the kid Jim, like I remember he sang, and I think he showed me this band. I want to say Amber Pacific's like the band he showed me is like that he like referenced his vocals to.
Okay.
And I remember like we tried him out and wound up not working out, and he was like super adamant about writing a song about a chick named Pixie, because I guess that was her, like a girl he knew who like died from either a car accident or whatever it was at the time.
Right.
Like he wanted to write that and he wanted to try out for the band. And me being a sap, like he obviously didn't wind up making the band. He didn't make the cut. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, man, like whatever happens, like I got you. Like if you don't make it into the band, like Pixie will have her song. And that's like why it is. And then like Mark, Scott's cousin, would always like call me. I was like, bro, you wrote a song about a girl that passed away that you didn't even fucking know. And I'm like, oh fuck, he's right.
You're a fraud.
Sad. I know. I'm like, but like nobody knew like the good heartedness behind it. Like I'm not trying to pretend like for a sob story for me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like thought I was doing like a nice thing for a dude. Like, not to say like I felt like a celebrity, but it was like, oh my god, people like know I'm in a band, and this guy like is a fan and saying our band is awesome and shit. Like,
right.
And I always wanted to be that guy. Like, I always told myself, like, if I ever did anything with music or anything of like not stardom, but like where you're a public figure in any way, like I always wanted to keep it real with like whoever like the supporters were. I hate using the word fans because like you're 16 in a local band, simmer down, fans.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do that. So like that's where that came from. And then like years later, like when my sister passed, it was just ironic because like so many of the lyrics wound up being relatable, and like Pixie, Brittany, like the short eye, like the name just sounded. It was just like it was weird, man. Almost like foretelling and shit. Like it was
foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's super weird to like think about weird in that regard. But the original thing of it is complete. Again, I'm just, hey man, I think this is what I gathered from you, and the 2 times I talked to you about what this girl meant to you. I hope I did a good job.
And he liked it?
Yeah, from what I recall, he liked it. I mean, if he watches this one day and realizes it's him I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure his name was Jim, and I'm pretty sure he was from Jackson.
Jim from Jackson, man, hit us up.
Yeah, man, pretty sure.
You want a copy of this?
Prince of Peace.
$5 now.
Yeah, I could be just misremembering some of the parts of the story, but that's the gist, man. It was written for a girl that was friends with some dude who was trying to either be a fan or in the band.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember you telling me it was written for someone who died, like that story. I don't think I remember you saying all this stuff of like, I didn't even know her, and it was really for this guy. And like,
I
I
was
don't think
probably
I remember that part.
scared that like everybody would have been like, "Oh, bro, that's fucking stupid." We're
Yeah,
not
you're a
doing
phony
that."
or some shit.
You know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah,
But, like,
yeah.
Because like at that point,
But like you were saying, like you're 16. Like,
Yeah.
what have you gone through, really?
yeah, yeah. Well, it was that too, and like I guess the other part of it was like I didn't want to be selfish, but I did. Like I didn't want the song to be all about me, but it was like I was the only one who really connected with this dude. Like the other guys weren't really like staying in touch after the shit or like
Yeah.
hanging out. Like they didn't go back to their house; they came back to my parents' house.
Right.
So it was like I didn't want it to be like so known in the sense where it was like, well, fuck you. Then I want a song for my friend, or I want a song for my girlfriend, or I want a song for this.
Right.
And it's like I don't know, man.
What is this, a public service?
Yeah. Like, I didn't want it to turn into that. So like selfishly, I was just like, fuck it. This is what it's about. I'm writing it. You guys don't check my shit anyway, so fuck off.
Yeah, because then that people aren't gonna ask more questions if you.
It's about a girl who died. Like
Yeah.
what road do you want to go down? You know,
Well, depends on how she died.
couldn't tell you her real name. How long ago? I feel terrible about it, but
No, you know.
it was with the best intentions.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah,
can
of
tell you.
course. So,
God, I'm fucking itchy.
so that one line that I just said,
Yeah.
we've lost control.
Yeah,
That's one of my lines. I think that's just a filler line. Obviously,
yeah.
I think that's
Because, like in Triceratops, there's a line like "I leave it in the hands of fate," but then there's like other references on the album of like "I don't believe in fate."
right.
And like for me, like I guess I knew it was contradictory, and I would always try to sell it back then as like, oh, I was at like different points in my life, like, and I would teeter back and forth. Like, now technicality, if I feel one way today and I do a different way 2 weeks from today,
People evolve. Stories
I
change.
evolve, or I could re-evolve and go back to what I thought. And,
Yeah.
but I think like realistically, like in my mind, like I've never really had one side or the other back and forth. You know, like
Yeah.
I've always just struggled. Like I believe fate exists to a degree, but I don't think that there's nothing that you can do to alter it. Like I think at some point, like if you're fucked, you're fucked. But it's worth trying. Like I don't know what I fully believe, so I've always struggled. Like, is fate real or is fate not?
Right.
And I'm like, if fate is fate, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and that's like what I tell myself when I need to chill, because it's like it's in bigger hands than mine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, sometimes you're just like, nope, fuck that, man. Like even if it is, like I might as well try, because what if it's not?
Yeah.
You know. So a lot of that struggle was like I didn't realize it was that struggle, but it came out in the lyrics that seemed contradictive.
Yeah. And it's funny you bring that up, stuff when you write and then you look back and you realize, oh, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. And
Yeah.
I didn't know it at the time.
But you weren't mature enough to know what you were really
Exactly.
feeling.
And it was funny because I was listening to a podcast, and Cove Reber was on it.
Okay.
Reber, how are you, from Saleston.
The second singer after Anthony
Second singer,
Green.
yeah. And he was saying that too. And he was saying how, like, was it him or was it Nate Barkalow from Finch? It was one of them. I think it might have been Nate, actually, now that I think about it. When, like, he would, like, write, and then, like, listening back, he was like, oh, that's what I meant. And I've had that same thing, too, where it's, like, it's just coming through you, and you don't really have time to think why, what, who, where,
Yeah.
what's the point.
It's
It's just,
weird,
like, coming
man.
out, and then later, when, you're talking about the song, or you're thinking, or you just listen to it, and you're not making it, you're like, oh. That's what I was talking about. So we're going to take a little break and with a word from our sponsor. One of our sponsors is called J&R Videography. My boy Jesse Rafter's video production company. Make sure you guys hit him up. And if you guys mention Good Tunes or the Idiot Box or Timmy Good Tunes, anything like that, when you're doing business with him, he'll knock off 10% on whatever you guys are trying to get filmed. He does videography, photography, weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events, webcasting, photos for social media, Instagrams, marketing, things like that. J&R Videography. JRaftervideo.com. Put information down here and information links to his website and YouTube in the description box. So make sure you check that out. J&R Videography. Timmy Good Tunes. Mention Timmy Good Tunes to Jesse Rafter. Good Tunes Idiot Box to Jesse Rafter, and he'll knock off 10% from the biz, whatever you guys getting them to do. All right. So let's keep going with the song.
Yeah.
I think we're coming towards the end of the
Intro.
intro, verse, whatever, and then going into the chorus.
Never seen a child in my bed.
those are fillers.
Yeah.
That I think it was just like, well, you're here, so you might as well do something.
To be honest, I feel like what you put as the filler wound up being the focal point.
Yeah,
Like, to
and
me,
then
I hear the screams like just kind of roughing it up, like a little bit of sandpaper in there. You know what I mean? Just scoring it up just a little bit.
And that bass, and that low end.
Yeah, but like I just think it's dynamics. When you go check 1, 2, you're checking your mid, your high, and your low. So it's the same thing. Like we always had so many people going on that we filled out the high, the mid, and the low, and I feel like that's what's happening. Like I don't feel like anybody knows what I'm even saying there. I don't even remember.
You remember?
Because I feel like everyone's singing. I feel like everyone. I think I say contain, embrace, live life to the fullest, and that's all I remember. I'd have to listen back for the.
So I made up those lyrics, the vocals,
because I never seen a tragedy like this shit. Yeah, that's all you.
Because it seemed it goes. We made it so working together on it,
right,
to make sense when the chorus comes into play.
Right.
So, lying here with eyes still bloodshot. Yeah. So without that, it would just be going from those screams and then just it wasn't like a sentence. It was just like it started.
I think it's like it's all reminiscent of like I feel like we're gonna keep talking in loops because like you can relate everything back to it, and it always comes back to who you are, right?
Right.
Like we were saying like before, like you could start at the same starting point and wind up at the same end point, but you could take 2 totally different roads to get there. Yeah. And I feel like that's what we always did. Like beginning of a verse to the end of the verse, going into the chorus, like we just fucking intertwined our roads like 20 times, but we started and ended the same.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's what made it kind of like cohesive.
Yeah.
You know?
So chorus, here we go.
Do it.
So that's fun.
Yeah, I love that chorus.
Very chopped up.
Yep.
I did like line by line, which is I always do that. I think a lot of people do that.
Now I forget what part you altered the chorus. If you just made the, I remember the detriment part was definitely me because I remember listening to that from Autumn to Ashes CD, and it's like they have a line in there. It's like bleach out the shades of detriment or something like that. Okay. It's like a line. I remember hearing that word. I'm like, it was like a really like I remember hearing that part in that song. And like it was he wasn't the screaming part. It was like Fran the drummer like singing part.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I'll have to look it up and send it to you later. But it was on the same one with like Autumn's monologue and all that shit. But like neither here nor there. Fucking detriment. I was like, that's dope. I'm gonna use that word somewhere. And then it was like when it was like with detriment and heart and hand. I figured it was
that's definitely not.
It was
my
like
word.
almost like a false rhyme, and I wanted to sound like more poetic. So like a lot of the Atreyu stuff at that time was like more like you were writing old like 12th century poetry type shit.
Those
you
words,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I was like,
whip out a thesaurus type word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Were those he just doubled up, or did I actually sing? I have such bad memory. I don't think it matters anyway.
It was all the
just so. There's one thing about this. It was a lot of experimenting through the whole album.
With drugs, alcohol, ourselves,
out of
lyrics,
whether it was pure creativity or just desperate for filling in the blanks or trying to just make every single part of each song interesting in some way.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like I don't know, like sometimes it was like you'd almost get the notion like, are we putting too many sprinkles on this fucking thing? Yeah. And it's like looking back now,
it's like Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Like there's too much shit in here.
Yeah, like try like
where's the ice cream?
Trying to be more of a mature writer now, there's definitely some shit I would like doctor. I'm like, that doesn't necessarily need that. But it worked at the time, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. We're all really good. Like,
yeah, we went full speed.
Yeah, man.
Let's keep going.
Do it up.
What gives you the right to take you from me? The shame of one another, taken far too young, but it won't be long. So I write out.
so fucking catchy.
Yeah.
Like, I hate my fucking scream listening back to this, but and like if you took like all of us now and redid it with like an awesome recording, I feel like it would still hold its own.
Yeah, and just the way you never stood still. I could see you listening to these screams. I know exactly where you are in Mr. Kyle's room. You're not in the booth.
No.
You're not in the booth. You got the microphone in your hand, and you're out where the couch is, where everyone is, and you're playing a show. You're literally playing a show. You're not just recording. There's people watching you, so I got to put on a show.
Yeah.
And that was your whole deal.
Yeah, man.
Like 24/7. It was exhausting.
It is, man. I mean,
exhausting.
looking back, there's probably like a lot of insecurity in there, feeling like I gotta sell this.
Insecure? Where was I?
I think a lot of people are though. Like if you look at like some,
that's high school.
if you look at like some of the people too, like to talk about like jock culture and all that stuff, like or like the bullies and all that. Like, I was never a bully. I never thought I was an asshole, but it was like no one ever wants to feel bested. You never want to be that pussy. You never want to be the one that's like, oh man, this kid fucking sucks. So it's like before you even get that thought to think that I might suck, like I'm gonna sell this to you. Like, I'm gonna force you to like me. That was the mentality then. Like it sucked. Like on the inside, I was probably like dying. I'm like out there, I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
You wouldn't have.
Yeah. Inside, I'm like the most insecure fucking person in the world at that point.
Hope and pray, see you. When our eyes meet, I won't be.
Yeah, I would love to retrack screams on that now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think everybody would want to retract something.
Yeah.
I think
I could go through like what I
Yeah,
I could literally sit in every song and like produce it right now.
Take
But
it out,
no,
take it out,
no,
take it out,
this
take it
got to
out.
go here. No, turn that up. That's too tinny. Make that fucking warmer.
Yeah.
Like
all right, let's keep going. Sexy part. Before we get into that, that's a pretty badass part.
What's depressing is like Scott was like 18 there and playing for maybe like 3 or 4 years. Like I've been trying to learn guitar for probably like a year now, and like I have guitars in my house. Been around like so many good guitar players. I couldn't play anything on this, and we were like 17, 18. Like fuck you, man.
Yeah.
And that's like being a musician already from playing drums. Like I already have rhythm down. I just could never do that. Nuts.
That's when that song, that part really. Oof.
Yeah, man. It was so.
That's when
it was so catchy, but like Metallica, like melodic, but like, I guess like post-hardcore vibe, but like just everything.
Yeah, everything.
We took everything. We're like, here's a blender. Here, try this.
Yeah.
We were jungle juice, bro. It was just jungle juice.
Jungle juice. Man. Put everything in there.
Hell yeah.
All right, and then it comes right back into it. So who's that?
Scott. That's
That's
all
Scott.
Scott.
Was the first one Scott too?
Yeah.
Even live?
Yeah. I forget if they traded stuff off. I don't know if he like cut the one part short and then went in, but I mean Scott was he was just otherworldly. I think Scott like at that point there were times Scott was better then than he was like in like the middle years.
Right.
I thought at least like I haven't seen him play in a while, but like the last time I played with him, man, he could still play all this.
Well, that
but,
goes back to being surrounded by those
like,
people who are pushing.
I would say it's more of like his creativity. Like I don't think there's anything you tell Scott like, "Yo, play this," and he can't play it.
We got another sponsor, guys, from New Jersey, Soul Emod. They are a company out of New Jersey, and they have bags and accessories, clothing, apparel, straight from South America, from Ecuador, based in New Jersey, imported from Ecuador, high-quality goods. Very durable, very fashionable for any type of occasion. Handmade in Ecuador. They're on Shopify. They're on Facebook. Facebook.com/SoulEmarNJ. That's SOLYMARNJ. They're on Instagram. SoulEmarNJ. SoulEmar. And make sure if you guys ever go to the website, you ever buy anything, just mention in the notes section of your order. Timmy Good Tunes or Idiot Box, anything like that, and we'll knock off 10% off your order. So make sure you go hit them up. It's a good sponsor of ours, Soul Emod and Jay. Okay, so coming towards the end
Yes.
of Pixie. Here we go.
This might be like my favorite album of all time.
It just doesn't. He doesn't stop.
It's just, but it's so like tasty. Like there's dudes that could definitely like shred with all like the sweet picking and all that other shit. Like they're absolute monsters. But like just the combination of like talent, feel, soul. Like he doesn't have to say a word. I know what his thoughts are on the song by just listening to it play guitar.
Yeah.
Tripped over the words there, but like dude, the kid's just fucking. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Everybody in the band was a monster, but like Scott, just like on that album, bro, dude just hit different, man. Still does.
I'd say
the fact that we've been in like 10 other bands, and like I'll put those leads up against anything we've played with.
Yeah.
Like maybe not better, but like right there, as good if not better. Like,
I'd say as someone who's watching us in the crowd, you're for the most part keeping an eye on Scott.
Yeah.
And probably you, because you can't ignore you. You know?
Yeah.
And then I guess, like, when I do sing, I guess people are looking at me. But I think, like, the show was Scott and you, and a little bit of Lou. Fucking
Paul.
Fucking Paul.
Paul.
Lou is just Paul without a P.
Yes.
But, yeah, as far as, like, visually, keeping an eye on you and Scott.
I would agree, man. I feel like definitely like immaturity at the time, I think got in the way of like, or would create me and Scott to bump heads. Cause I think I had the insecurity of like, all right, I can't showcase anything on drums anymore. Now, instead of getting better, I've gotten worse because I haven't really played as much. I'm not playing in a band. I'm not pushing myself because I'm pushing myself to be a vocalist. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to like, not completely lose spotlight because I like being a spotlight. I like being the guy. Like fucking more people in the crowd, the better I'm gonna play. Like with whatever I have, you know. As long as I have the hours put in for the practice, I'm ready to fucking go. So it's like I always want to be that guy and contribute to the team, but you don't want to be phased out. Like I said, there was like I never felt needed as just a screamer. So I'm like I got to earn my fucking keep. Yeah. And meanwhile, you're watching this dude is like was always the dude that made you want to be better. Just get better and better. And I'm like, I'm not growing. Like, holy fuck, man, this feels like shit. Yeah. Like, you never want to take away from it because it's the same team. So you just let him do his thing. Yeah. And I feel like Scott probably at times, like, probably looked at me like, why are people watching this asshole? I'm over here like shredding my ass. I'm just idiots just over there throwing toilet paper. You know what I mean? Like looking back, like I would have done it a lot more like planned out and like probably open up Scott a lot more and been like.
But that's only
like,
because
yeah,
you are who you are now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like why
16,
why would
17.
we want to take it that seriously?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
No, I was like, what the fuck?
We
Like,
probably anybody looking back would be like, oh, I should have did this.
I mean,
it's like, yeah.
You're trying to learn too. Like you hear
Yeah.
shit like no exposure is bad exposure. Like if I was throwing toilet paper, I don't care. You were talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you were talking about it, and our name got brought
You
up.
mean the toilet paper ban?
Yeah.
The
Atreyu
Atreyu cover
ban?
ban? Oh, God.
Yeah,
we'll
that
get
was-
into that
Oh man.
on another time.
Yeah.
So Pixie was the first song. We'll come back at another time and do the other songs. We got we got 3 more bands after this to do,
Holy
man.
fuck.
3 more bands after this.
Oh,
So it'll
man.
be fun.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
content, you know.
Yeah, you might as well just move in for like a month
I
and
know.
just do one a day.
Oh, yeah. Megan would love that.
Oh yeah, it'll go over great.
Where are you? No.
We have 2 rooms in case you guys are fighting.
Oh yeah, that's true. Nice. We each get a cat too.
Oh fuck. Jade can fuck off. We all got one. I'll take Titan. He's my little boy.
So this has been Good Tunes. I'm Timmy Good Tunes. This is Roger Y. This has been our I don't know what to call this series. It's like a looking back series. I'll think of something. The nostalgia series.
Why people should give a fuck about us.
.com. And then we'll be back for what's the next song? Next episode is
Is it Feast? No, wait. Yo. All right, I'm just going to say it now because I know what it is, and I know the timing's going to be off. All right? Will Smith got done dirty. Just absolutely done dirty.
and we knew about it all along.
And that's why
That's why we wrote a song about it
called Will Smith.
called Will Smith. But it was actually someone related to Scott, right? Or no? It was actually Will. Was it supposed to be? You even remember? We'll talk. Well, you'll find out. What does it mean? You'll find out next time on Good Tunes.